time I saw an SVD. I fainted. Cried in the bathroom. People are saying, "Ma, nurse, I'm there, I'm breaking the ampoule, I'm draining." I'm like, "Yes, I'll be with you." Do handover, taking over. You need to go and see all the patients, like doctor watch round, come back, write taking over notes, all of that, go and set medication, go and make bed, check the IV fluid, people that need to be nebulized, you go and check them, oxygen. Guys, why are you crying? Why are you crying? I have been to 6 different wards and started working as a nurse. Some broke me, some genuinely traumatized me. One made me cry in the bathroom, and one I actually loved. And at the end of this video, you are going to know which one and why. So this is my first 10 months as working as a nurse. So when I started working last year, 2025 May. I resumed to the ophthalmology unit, and if you want to know more about that, you should go and watch this video. I was there for 2 months, and in those 2 months, I thought I had seen it all. I hadn't seen it all. I was just getting started, baby. That was something else. So working in the ophthalmology clinic, I was on permanent money for 2 months, and if you are a nurse or you're a nursing student, you will know that permanent money is actually the bane of every nurse's existence. So after doing my, sorry if I'm always going to be touching my hair, I feel a bit subconscious, like working in the ophthalmology unit. I went to male medical ward, and that was actually where the real work started. There was a lot of patients. I think in those kind of situations, you can know why they called patients. You actually need to be patient. So the male medical ward, I actually had like a nice rotation. I did my morning, then my night shift, then my afternoon shift. The nurses, they were very wonderful, very great and lovely to work with. The issue was with the patients. I don't know what ward is better, either medical or surgical, but since I worked in both male medical and male surgical, I think I can mix it up a bit. So if you're a medical, they're focusing more on the medical side of things. So like people that are like sick, malaria, the men anyway, diabetes, hypertension, that does not have any surgical aspect of it. Fractures in your leg, in your hands, they keep them like in the surgical ward, right? In the medical ward, just deal with like, I want to use the word internal stuff. First of all, in male medical, there seemed to be less dressing than there was in male surgical. The male surgical was a lot of dressing. If you don't know what dressing is, dressing is like wound dressing. Some wounds are worse than the other, so like that's what dressing is. And surgical seems to have more wound than medical, but one medical should have wound. They are having wound. There's a dressing that I did for a patient. He had diabetic foot ulcer, and like that was like my first time, right? And nurses were so busy, I just had to be the one to do it. What is even the nurses? We were like 4 on duty that day. I was obviously going to be the one to do it. Ones I have done are very shallow, they're quite easy to do. Like with the instrument, everything. As I was cleaning this man's leg, I peeled like, oh gosh, I think like a foot, I be the toenail or something. That thing scattered. Like I was actually taken aback. I didn't feel good that day. It was terrible. When I was doing my night shift in male medical ward, I did CPR almost every night, like back to back. Something was, my patients were packing, and like obviously that's not like the fault on the nurses or whatever. Like that could have been their time. Like we already knew that that was going to happen. There were some that like was just a blink of an eye. Like there was one, I just looked away from him for like 5 minutes because I wanted to chat. Before I knew it, the relative was already calling like the patient is no longer breathing. I did CPR. I was feeling it in my back. Like right now, there's no I can do CPR anywhere, you guys. I did CPR, did everything, called the doctors. It was, and that time I was on night shift, and we're 2 on night shift. 2 nurses to 20, I think that was like a 20 to 25 bedded wards. So 2 nurses to that number. They hardly ever dropped below 15. They were always 15 and above. So you can just imagine how stressful that is. Male surgical ward, the patients, we thank God, I don't think I had anybody that packed in my shift, so the CPR was not as much. Didn't really enjoy that ward, to be precise. There like I had like selective people that I liked. Some, I don't know, they just, and that's another thing about like work atmosphere. Sometimes work atmosphere, it's quite stressful over there because you're always walking somebody up for surgery, or somebody's just coming back from surgery, or you might need to take the person to the ICU, as well. So like the work there is hectic, and it's still the same number of like people for night shifts. Like in my hospital now, like in the morning in the wards you have like 4 to 5 nurses in the morning, in the afternoon 2, in the night 2. Do you understand? It's like that everywhere except for the A&E and the ICU, and I'm coming to that just to create a picture. For O and G, hey, if anybody knows me, they know how much I don't like anything O and G, which is crazy because I'm a woman, I'm a feminist. But what you like is what you like. Do you understand? I do not like O and G. There's just something quite jarring about seeing what you are going to be in very soon without like the complications. Obviously, let's start from antenatal ward. I went to antenatal, postnatal and labor ward. In the antenatal ward you also have the gynae ward. The antenatal and you have the gynae ward, they are both in the same ward. Do you understand? So that place, I did not like it. Like the nurses there, they are nice. Even if one will sit each other up to now, like everybody is so nice to me. To be honest, I don't think I've actually met anybody that will not like me. So, but like I could not cope very well, so to say. But on the fact that like I just kept on being scared. I was scared I was not doing properly. I was scared that I was not really cross-checking the woman, or sorry, the women. Like the people that they usually admit are people that are about to go into labor, like pregnancy complications, like maybe the woman is also having like high blood pressure, or she's a diabetic patient, like that. That's like into the antenatal ward of the hospital. Like in the gynae ward now, maybe like they are working them up for cesarean section, or they fell, or the child, like gynae is like more surgical related like that, but like they're in the same ward. So like that's that for the gynae ward. But like being in that, I was just always so uncomfortable. And that was nothing. I was always so uncomfortable. The workload there is not so tragic, except for the fact that you're always listening to the fetal heart rate of the babies, like almost like 3 times in an 8-hour shift. You probably listen to fetal heart rate. Do you understand? And before you know it, you not hear the child's fetal heart rate again. I beg, I no want, I beg. I said to apply to gynae, the women are always so sad. That side of the world is not a happy world. Everybody is always so sad. And granted, they would be, but like, I'm sorry, I don't just cope very well then. Labor ward. The things I have seen in labor ward, even from when I was a student nurse. No, and I'm so happy nobody asked me to take delivery. I would have passed out. Funny enough, when I first started like training into nursing, being a nursing student, the first time I saw an SVD, I fainted. When I woke up, there was a bottle of Coke in my hand. That's how serious it is for me. Yeah. When I was in labor, I was labor ward for a week. I'm trying to like categorize them into O and G medicine, like the way doctors do. So sorry if everything is a bit out of the place. So I went to labor ward this year, but last year I went to antenatal and postnatal ward. You see, labor ward, there's nothing anybody can tell you if you are in labor ward. If you are in labor ward, that day you might choose not to give birth. You might choose not to be a mother. I don't know. And like they'll tell you, no, once you give birth to that child, the child is you're going to forget about the pain. And I can understand that because like I have dysmenorrhea. So like after my period, everything, once all the pain clear from my head, it's just be like it never happened. But I always remember it when I'm always close to being on my period. I feel like that's how it is for women that give birth like multiple times. Time they are carrying the pregnancy, they don't know that they are going to enter labor pain until they are few minutes or 2 weeks towards going into labor. They'll not be like, why did I do this to myself? You guys, labor ward is something I never want to speak about in my life. But that was nothing compared to postnatal ward. Postnatal ward is like taking the SCBU, and I don't even know how to explain it. It's just taking babies and mothers and putting them in the same place. Two things I don't like. I don't say that I don't like babies. I don't like when they cry. So if you're in postnatal ward, you bathe the babies, you take care of the mother. Like you have to make sure that the babies are breathing. That postnatal ward is almost a 30-bedded ward. It's almost a 30-bedded ward because everybody that gives birth, either you give birth to cesarean section or labor ward, is entering that place. Everybody's entering there with their baby. It's insane. And they still dressing there because like there's dressing on the CS sites, right? So maybe the woman also had like a tear or something. You have to be keeping up with that. And like I said again and again, just imagine 2 nurses doing such work. The work environment too wasn't so great. Since I have like 3 nurses there that I spoke to and that I like. The remaining, may God be with them. The ICU, the ICU. I was so excited to be in the ICU. I think the ICU to date is probably still one of my favorite places to be. The workload in the ICU is actually quite intense compared to the ward. At least the wards, you can try and substitute the work with the relatives, with the patients, family members, but you can't do that in the ICU. Hence, intensive care units. About the interns, it's basically just one nurse on duty, and that's like it's a 7-bedded ward, granted, but like the work is still there's still work because like in the ward intense, you don't really have people to call on if there's like an emergency. Like if your patient was already like a code, like they were picking a code as if it's code blue. If the patient was already like packing or something, the IC is actually where I work. The IC is actually quite secluded from the rest of the hospital in a way, so you can't call on anybody. You have to be the one thinking. I think that was like the first place where I had to think for myself. Like in other words, like I wait for people to tell me what to do. Like, oh, like go and do this, like go and do that, like do this, do that. But you see, in the ICU, I had to be thinking by myself what to do, what to do. Yes, a lot of hands. Yeah, really hands on that patient. No afternoon shift there. It's just morning and night. It was okay, I guess, for the lifestyle that I wanted to live during that month. The children ward. Now, I came to children ward in January, and that was this year. And if everybody knows me, they know I always said I do not like children because of anything per se. I just see them as very fragile people that just seem to always be monitored, and because that I'm always on edge. And like if you really want to like see how that was going, I also have like my vlogs of me being in the children ward. They can go and check it out after I finish watching this video. But when I was there, I actually ended up liking the kids. Shocker! I actually ended up liking the children, but like I don't want to say I have very high empathy levels, right? Which is why I genuinely feel like I cannot work very well in ONG and I cannot work very well in like pediatrics. I just can't do the two. I won't be able to do my job well because I'll just always be feeling sympathetic and less empathetic. That's just the truth. So it was just very different a bit for me because they cannot tell you why they are crying. Why are you crying? Why are you crying? Yes, but like I knew they were crying because they were in pain or they were hungry, or like even if you just giving them medication self it make them cry. Like there were so many that I had to be begging and pacifying and rubbing their backs. It was a lot, and there were some that I actually ended up loving. Like I have one, her name has left me now. Like I remember her name, I can't say it obviously, but I can't remember her name. It was lovely, and I hope that she's okay wherever she is. So at this point in my posting, I'm like, nothing can actually be tougher than this. I've done male medical, I've done children ward, I've done O&G. Ladies and gents, then came A and E. Then came A and E, and I was there throughout the month. You know, I've always been hearing, like I always knew I was going to go to A and E. Do you understand? But then the way it would be like it can't be that bad. It can't be that terrible. Do you understand? Well, it is that bad. It is that terrible. Yeah, I entered with afternoon shift, like 5 afternoons, right? The nurses, they are so wonderful. I feel like out of all the words, I expected like the A&E nurses to be quite another thing, but like all of them, I don't have one bad thing to say about any A&E nurse. I just wasn't prepared. I just wasn't mentally, physically prepared for anything. And like they don't do orientations in these places, so once you are somewhere, you just have to just keep on moving and start like doing your best to like ask questions while performing the task. So compared to the other wards, out of 8, so 6 people are actually working. The remaining 2 are like supervising and doing another thing, so they are not counted. So 6 people in the morning, basically 4 in the afternoon, 4 in the night. So I came with 4 in the afternoon. The workload there was terrible, and there's nothing to say about it. There is nothing to say about it for real. There are like different wards in that A&E. So you have the triage, you have the procedure room, you have the female ward in A&E, you have the male ward in A&E, you have like a general ward in A&E. all these places, so like AIE is like a capacity of like 40 to 50 beds, 5 nurses, a lot of beds in that place, and it's scary. Okay, anyway, when I was there on like my first day, I'm asking questions. It's not much different. No, that first day I just like serving medication, documenting, because like I'm coming with knowledge from another place. When they posted me to triage, that was the real work. That was the real work. You guys, I had to be I had to be assessing if this patient can come into the A&E, because the A&E is mainly for like accidents. Do you understand? So like road traffic accidents at home, self-injury, things like that, accidents, right? Then you have emergencies like emergency fever, emergency this, like things that are just happening very quickly that you have to rush them. That's what A&E is for. But there's some people that like they're not in any form of emergency. Neither are they injured, they will be coming to A&E, and then like it has to be like my job to send them back. Like, and then there are some people that will bring in their patients like BID, like they were brought in dead. I didn't know that like you can't bring in someone that was already dead to like the bed. I mean, I'll just be bringing in dead body, and they will not say it is the nurse that has killed someone. All of that good, like all of that bad stuff. Do you understand? And like the work pace there, it's like this. You guys, I don't know how quickly I cannot believe how quickly I move when I'm in the A&E, and I'm speaking to people low. Like people are saying, "Ma, nurse, I'm there. I'm breaking the ampoule. I'm draining." I'm like, "Yes, I'll be with you." I am, because time, you guys, like between, let me use the word 9 o'clock, even though you're supposed to be at work by like 7:40, but like you need to do handover, taking over, you need to go and see all the patients, like doctor ward round, come back, write taking over notes, all of that, go and set medication, go and make bed, check the IV fluid, people that need to be nebulized, you go and check them, oxygen. Guys, I was moving. If I had my watch, I was averaging 15k steps per day, like because I use my phone. I can even show you guys some screenshots because I use my phone. My phone is with me. I'll be averaging 8 to 10k steps in that A&E. It was crazy. I cried in the bathroom. I can't blame that because I was on my period, but I just felt so stressed out. I just felt like so many things were demanded of me. I was so tired. I don't know, I was already doing permanent morning shifts. So every day morning shifts, 5 days morning, back to back. I was tired of it. I was so overwhelmed. Back home, and I'll just be like, God, and I have to do it again tomorrow. Like, why me? and if anybody like knew me for my IG kidney, I was always talking about being in A&E. You guys, it was so horrible for me when I was starting in the beginning. I have to resume to the theater tomorrow. I'm going to be in the theater all throughout April. I'm kind of excited, right? But like I hope very soon they're going to put me in my favorite ward, and I cannot wait to come back to tell you guys. People used to ask me, well, like if I'm enjoying nursing now, if I think nursing is worth it. And honestly, 10 months ago from now, I would have said, yeah, maybe. I'd have given you like a different answer than the one I'm giving you guys today. But I have cried, I have crowed in hospital bathrooms. I have come home to no lights because I stay alone, no electricity. Sometimes I will not even bring myself to make any food. I will drink garri, and I still went back to work the next day. So I don't know. Anyway, I have 2 months left, and I'll be back to tell you guys how it goes, like the ending of my internship, if I'll do it all over again. So subscribe if you want to see the ending, because I promise it's going to be worth watching. If you guys like anything, nursing, lifestyle vlogs, navigating 20s, this is your channel right here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. SNO in the building. SNM. If you'd like to see all those videos, I'm going to link them in the description below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.